How's it going, YouTube? It's Panda time. In this video we have pure green hybrid going up against X-Antibody. I want to showcase the green hybrid that is not red based. We'll see how this one does. As for X-Antibody, it's just a super cool deck at this point. My friend is actually borrowing my deck, but you could probably tell based on his leaves, but it is not me playing it, so there's that. So with the green base for green hybrid, you can crazy concept Digivolve your rookies into your champions, and I feel like this little thing gets overlooked a lot. For example, like being able to go Wormmon into Beetlemon and get the surge, I think it's actually pretty relevant. There are obviously other benefits to playing the red base, but I personally like being able to Digivolve rookie into champion. Worm is gonna swing, effect of Cormon, can look at the top card in his deck. Ooh, hits into a memory tamer though, that's a yikes, right? That's maybe the worst possible first hit. So Wormmon survives, so he's gonna opt to Digivolve on top of it, which is interesting, because surely that Sting one is gonna get cleaned up. Not only that, but he goes wide with another rookie, but this is just gonna get cleaned up by the Dorgoramon. So yeah, that's kind of a super yikes. He can still get the memory of the Dormon because the effect happens after the Terriermon is deleted. Gets a full board clear, plays a Chumon of his own, and honestly that was such a big swing of events that as soon as that happens, I feel like the game is over. I don't see how green hybrid can come back. He would need to have the most insane security to win that game. So maybe this is a good example. He has another Dormon. Ooh, that's crazy. So yeah, I think it's a good example of like how Digimon is not the swingest games. You can have a lot of back and forth swings, but sometimes the swing is so insane that they're just not coming back, right? Like the green player swung into a memory tamer and then started Digivolve on top of his suspended Digimon and then played a second rookie, and like he just lost his entire board, right? Like from that position, I don't see how he can come back. Honestly, X-Antibody player doesn't have to do too much here, so we're gonna see how he's gonna close the game out. He did hit into the tamer, but at this point, I mean, it's just not gonna be enough, right? Like these Wormmons can swing in for chip damage, try and get his pieces. I do like the Worm engine, Worm with the Cormon. You can like see what their top card is, and then Wormmon can pick up so much stuff. So there's a lot of good stuff in there. Like I like the idea of that with the Beetlemon. The green could be very consistent, right? But yeah, it's a yikes. Okay, so at this point, that Dorgora has got too many sources. It could probably actually pop the Metal Cavateri. So he gains 3 memory, pops the dude, draws a card, checks for multiple, and yeah, that's just the game. So honestly, let's just go back to how big of a swing that first attack in turn was for green hybrid. And once he hit into the memory tamer, I don't know what he should have done. His play I don't think was correct, but it's hard to think of like what is the alternative, right? Like in that case, playing another rookie just to get cleaned up by the Dorgora just feels terrible. So that would have been a good time for him to maybe develop a tamer or something like that. But obviously if he doesn't have that, then he can't. Trying to Digivolve higher is tough because his Digimon was suspended, right? So it doesn't really work out, and you can't Digivolve over the Bokomon anyway. But yeah, it was just a massive swing. X-Antibody is one of those decks where like when things go well, you're just like you make your stack and that stack just cleans up, right? And it's one of those things where like the Dorgora just gets stronger turn after turn. Like the first time it's like, okay, clears 2 rookies, gain 1 memory. And then by the end, he was like, I swing for 2 checks, I destroy your level 4, and I gain 3 memory, right? Which is just absurd parallel wise. But of course the Dorgora is gonna get kicked out for Alphamon soon enough. So let's just be patient. Also, I don't know if you guys saw, but they actually revealed that BT7 is gonna have a ghost rare Alphamon. So maybe I could pull that and show it off to you guys. That would be sick. Alright, going into game 2 here, we have once again the Wormmon start. I just have to assume that he's playing for Wormmon. I don't know if Wormmon is like the best rookie. I was talking about how it is good for searches. I definitely think that playing green base, you know, Terriermon is like, I think of the ideal go-to. We see he also does play Terriermon. We see Wormmon being used to just memory choke. This tag doesn't really have X-Antibody pieces, but it's a quick stack into a level 6, right? The Wormmon does die. It doesn't actually get any targets, right? It's actually kind of sad. Wormmon can actually get a good amount of stuff, and I believe he doesn't really even have a color restriction either. Hard drop into Terriermon is okay. As long as he didn't put X-Antibody to 3 memory, I think it's fine. You don't want to be in a situation where like you put your opponent at 3 and you have 2 rookies that are going to get cleaned up by the Dorogora, right? However, this just means that X-Antibody can go into the Dorogora, memory choke to 1, and now those rookies are going to die for sure, right? So the best play for green is either Digiball on top of them, or just like swing. And I guess he just hasn't had the best luck having Tamers. We haven't actually seen him hard play Tamers, right? Like, feels like all the Tamers he's gotten have been hit on security. So yeah, Dorogora can at least clean up the Boko. The Boko didn't really do too much. I feel like you definitely should have just swung with it. It is 100% gonna die, right? So Boko gets popped, he gets the card draw in the memory, and it is 2 checks for 50,000 DP. He does once again hit into another memory tamer, so then that's pretty good for green. Like, a lot of these hybrids decks, you play so many hybrids, so many tamers, and then, you know, the security becomes pretty good because of that. But the Sword Defeat comes out to instantly get rid of the EC and Mimi. I do like Sword Defeat quite a bit in the X-Antibody. I know that people like playing the Chaos Mon, but I'm a fan of Sword Defeat. It's just such an annoying Digimon, right? The Rhino and then sets up a Ken finally. But at this point, I mean, the Sword Defeat could just punch over the Rhino, all while setting up a second stack in the back, right? Yeah, he's got perfect memory to spend 3 on the level 5, and then pass over going into another 6. This time with the Altar Dorogoramon, pretty nice. And from this situation, as the green player, like, what do? You're facing the Sword Defeat, haven't really done enough chip damage, and don't have enough tamers to just try and start swinging for game. It's a tough position for sure. It has to Digiball over the Ken, which it feels bad too, because now you lost your memory tamer. And the Rhino Beetle, while, you know, pretty good, you're not swinging over Digimon, so you're not getting the effect. And then on top of that, it's 13k, which could just get cleaned up by both of the stacks from the X-Antibody player, right? The Dorogora might not actually have enough sources that are X-Antibody to swing over and be 14k, but it definitely can later. But the Sword Defeat can for sure. At the very least, trade against it, and I guess he would be okay with that trade, right? Sword Defeat trades, he can't proc the Undeletion on something else, and that would be fine. Although the Undeletion happens for the player first, right? That means that you would have to do your Ancient Beetle Undeletion first, and then Sword Defeat could still clear the other body anyway. But there is a final Super Gun Punch, giving the Sword Defeat an extra 3000 DP. So with this line, he could swing over the Beetle and survive. He does once again hit into another Tamer in security, just so many green Tamers in security. But I feel like we just didn't get to see JP, right? Like, where were the JPs at? JP is honestly such a good Tamer. The discount is insane. So yeah, he's able to swing over the Ancient Beetle. He does get the Undeletion, but at this point, you know, it's just a level 4. And even though he's got extra memory from the Issy and Mimi, I mean, he's just 2 behind, right? I feel like the green hybrid here was not really able to set up the entire set, and we just saw the power of the Dorogora just instantly getting value, right? Like, you turbo into it, whether it be through, you know, cheap devolutions like the Wormmon, or having the memory tamer and then Coda, and then as soon as it's out, you're like popping Digimon, punching for 2 or 3 security at high DP, getting card draw and memory gain off of it, right? Like, Dorogora is just doing so much right now. And the Sword Defeat was super nice as well. Gonna go into Rhino Beetle. Hit potential. I mean, it's nice, but it's just too little too late, right? The Sword Defeat has blocker, yeah, from the Super Gun Punch. So even the play to attempt to swing over the Doru doesn't actually work. Although to be fair, I don't think there was anything you could really do at that point, like at all. I will say in this game, having the green base didn't actually amount to much. It was just a bunch of chip damage, right? We finally see a JP come out, but it's definitely too late. That's gonna be game. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I'm definitely gonna try and get some BT8 content set up. I know that we obviously can't record BT8 matches just yet, but there's other stuff we could do with BT8. But definitely look forward to that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.